Comes my dog. Lay down, buddy. So we're going to do a brief video about phonetic inventory. Phonetic inventory are all the speech sounds we have in our language. So we're not worried about the letter. We're only worried about the sounds. Many of my students have gone through this. I had pink letters in a square with a mirror in the middle so they could see themselves while they did their sounds. Of course, I didn't know I needed to bring that home with me, but I have popsicle sticks with all the sounds. I did give you a worksheet with the sounds listed, and I have my vowel consonant words on popsicle sticks. These are what your students used. My students, your kiddos. All right, so we're gonna go through the sounds and I'll show you how I did it. It's gonna be a little different because they're on popsicle sticks, and if I show you it, it's gonna be backwards because this is a selfie video. So our first sound, they can go in any order, but I always started with the most simple sounds to the most difficult. So we're gonna start with the W, which is a bilabial sound. So our lips go together, W, then P, the P says P, then B says B, T says T, D says D, Y says Y, and you don't have to put your finger here. I'm just doing it because I don't know how to be on a video apparently. M says H says H, G says G, it's in the back, G. Same thing with K, K. And then the F, and then the V, V. J says J. The N says N. L says O. You put your tongue behind your teeth, O. Next is S, S. Snake in the cage. S. Sorry, I'm moving things around a little bit in my, all right. And then when we say our S, the Z is the same way, just with a voice. S, and then Z. You can feel your voice box vibrating. Z. And then we have a ZH, is how Mrs. Scott had written. We do the zh, like judge. Zh. And then the SH together say sh. Have you guys been hearing that a lot lately this last 2 weeks? The next is ch, which is the same as sh, a little bit. Sh, ch. It's like a chop sound. And then we have 2 times that our T and H come together. And they say f and v. You say them the same way. One has a voice and one does not. Just like some of our other sounds. Just like s and z, we have f and v. Like I tell your kids all the time, it's the only time I'm going to ask you to stick your tongue out at me when we do those THs, like thumb and think and the. A lot of the times we say f or v. Nope. Have them look in a mirror. It helps if you practice these in front of a mirror too, so they can see what they're doing. Because it's one thing to hear it. It's one thing to see it on somebody else's mouth, but they have to be able to feel it and hear it and see it. All the modalities. And then our last sound, we're gonna have a whole bunch of videos on this sound alone because he's a tricky one. R. So, I'm gonna get very specific into R in different videos because there's 10 different kind of R's that you need to practice. They're all said slightly differently. I know I've sent information home to some of your parents about this. Tricky R. So we're gonna have a whole separate thing with that. So then once we've practiced all of our sounds, research says that exposing them to all of the sounds in our language helps generalize their abilities. So oftentimes when we work on articulation or phonology, we stick with one sound and we practice and practice and practice. But I've been doing that, but I've also been exposing them to all the sounds to get as much practice as you can with all the sounds, because I would not start at a TH, but that might be an easier sound for them. So you want to hear how they're saying all their sounds. And then I have these popsicle sticks, and every time your student would come, they would pick 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, and then we take the vowel and the consonant. So this one is at, at. Then we'd go through all the sounds again, and they'd practice with that. So we'd add it to the W, oo, at, wat. And it's a fun game to keep track in 2 columns, real words and not real words. And that's helping them make the connection between literacy, hearing the sounds, hearing the words, seeing the words, and that might encourage a little bit more reading, right? So if I make wat, that's not a word, but if I do dot, that's a real word, d-at. And they're also practicing the ending sounds on these. It's a lot of things together. And then if you make a whole list, wat, pot, bot, tot, dot, they're all rhyming words. So you can do a bunch of different things with this. I'm pretty sure I put the vowel consonants on your paper. Sorry, I'm just keeping track of how long this is taking. I don't want to have a hard time uploading these videos. So our endings are ing, like wing, ping, ring, ed, ped, bed, zed, op, fop, vop, jop, eep. And sometimes it's fun to just make up words. And it's been found that kids sometimes have an easier time reading nonsense words. Sometimes. Eep, veep, jeep, seep. It's a real word. Cheap. That's what our Easter chicks are going to be doing, right? Cheep, cheep. An, yan, zan, ran. We already talked about ot. In. Nin, zin, jin, chin. Chin. Oi. Oi, poi, boy. Excuse me. At. Fat, cat, hat. That's a popular one because we do a lot of at words. And am, yam, mam, gam, cam, and ram. Excuse me. Sam. Lots of ones for that. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 of those. I'm sure you could find a whole slew of other ones. And I wrote them down. It's me backwards for you. But on my chart in my classroom, I also have the vowels just to practice the short and the long vowel. So a, right? Ape, apple. E, eat, and excuse. Can't think of them on the spot. Exercise. There's a good one. I, itchy, and I, the letter I went to the mall. O and octopus, oat. I had oatmeal for breakfast. Oh, looks like an N. It's a U. Even Mrs. Scott had to figure out U. Like U and unicorn and umbrella. So you could yourself put these on popsicle sticks or scraps of paper or dry erase board. Any number of those. You should have all the sounds on the sheet about phonetic inventory that I sent home, I hope. So you could also take 2 sounds and a vowel and make your own CVC, consonant, vowel, consonant, word. So you could do van. Oh, V-A-N, van. Or foat. Not a real word. You can make up nonsense words. You can make up real words. You can make a game of it. For my kiddos that came quite frequently throughout the week, this was always something we started our sessions with unless we were doing a special like holiday activity or craft that day. So I would love it if they could try to get through them. Another good way to practice is to do it on a camera, just like I'm doing now. Mrs. Scott can be super awkward. Your turn. So you can take the time to go through these in front of a mirror or on camera so they can hear it, they can see it, and they can feel it. I know that you don't have all my lingo for how to help them with the actual sounds, but I can break down some of these sounds in different videos too. But I just wanted you to have the general idea of what I do when I do the phonetic inventory. It's just a practice to get all of their sounds practiced in a day. They're hearing it, they're seeing it written. It's just gonna incorporate into their kindergarten learning or whatever grade they're in. I'm trying to think of what else I can add. I think that's it. This is a 9.5 minute video, so I hope I haven't bored you completely. I was able to get through without my kids screaming in the background, so yay. Stay tuned. I'm going to send this to the parents of kiddos that have been working on these sounds, and I hope that you all are finding yourselves healthy and well.